Hello from Nakalula Mountain. I'm the Witch of Nakalula. I guess I'll introduce myself since everyone else does that. I normally don't introduce myself because, my name is on the top of the screen and in the title. But yeah, I am going to be covering a haul from Troy Books. It's a book haul all the way from Great Britain. I ordered a lot of books from Great Britain on witchcraft. And this is from basically the West Country. So you're gonna need a map if you don't know Great Britain. West Country is like Cornwall, the west of, think of London, Devon, Salisbury Plain, and then there's Cornwall, the peninsula. It's basically Cornwall, and then Wales is above Cornwall. So I don't think I have anything Welsh here, but a lot of this is Cornish or English, like Devonshire. And I don't want to give a geography lesson, so please consult a map. I worked basically on a lot of the Arthurian mythology, the legends in graduate school. I have a degree and master's in English literature. So that was my period, was that period of the Middle Ages. And I love the folklore. I love how the folklore meshes with magic. And this is just very eclectic, okay? So if you're not into witchcraft, you're not into folklore, you're not into the West Country, and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, it may not be for you. But you're probably here because your algorithm, so you may like some of this, right? I'll put on my reading glasses. This is the first one I'm going to talk about, Spells from the Wise Woman's Cottage by Steve Patterson. It's got a beautiful cover. Now, Troy Books, that's their imprint. They do have special editions. If you're one of these special edition people, they had a sale on their special editions, but I missed it, unfortunately. And FYI, I did do a video on an order that I placed from Boscastle, from the Museum of Witchcraft in Boscastle. I placed that order last year and I did a review, but it was actually on Instagram. So see my Instagram and scroll through those videos, and I'm sure you can find that review of this whole ton of books I ordered from Boscastle. A lot of them were G. McGarry's, and I'll talk about G. McGarry in a minute. So she's one of the authors. This is basically just a little spell book about a legendary woman. I think she's called Old Joan. I haven't read this one yet. I'll just show you a couple of the pages. It looks so fun. Had a cat on the front, and so, I'm like, oh, look, it has a cat on the front. Amber must buy it. So, yeah, a lot of these I'm really excited about. And all of them but one came from overseas, from England. So it took a minute to get them in. And like I said, they do have special editions. You can check their website, go to Troy Books, and a lot of their special editions were sold out. They did have a sale, but I missed that. I'm trying to decide which one to show you. Okay, so this is one of the reasons I made this order. The Moon and the Priestess by Paul Blakeman. And it's about the tarot, of course. It's just a pretty book. And I wanted like a really just decent book on tarot that was different than all the other stuff I was finding over here. And it has the minor arcana, the pentacles, and it's sectioned off like that. But this is just, if you like to study tarot, or you just want a refresher, or just a normal book, it's really good to just have on your bedside and just read one each night. The Hermit. So yeah, it's the traditional Smith tarot deck. I think it's the Smith White or whatever, but it's Pamela Coleman Smith deck. So it's based on, or the art is based on. But tarot is tarot to me. Like, you could take the symbolism and apply it to any deck. So once you really learn the basic decks that have been with us for a minute, then you'll have a pretty good understanding of the symbology of the tarot to just read any deck out there. So this was one of the reasons I placed this order, and this book, which I started yesterday, The Canticles of Lilith. Oh my gosh, this is such a good book. If you're into Lilith, or you just like how folklore sort of starts in the Fertile Crescent basin and sort of goes out into different civilizations, the Indo-Europeans, and out all the way through time, basically, human history as we know it, the common era. So then this is something for you if you're into that in regards to Lilith legends and symbology. And it's just not that there are lots of independent legends about Lilith. She's an archetype, right? Like, it's not, you're not going to find lots of stories. Oh, one time Lilith came down the chimney at Christmas. No, that's not like that. So this book does a really good job of explaining that. Again, it's called The Canticles of Lilith, and I'm not gonna Nikolai and Katie D'Amatos Frisval. I don't know how to pronounce their last name, and I'm not gonna try. So, or that was my attempt. But yeah, I've already outlined a lot of stuff. It does talk about how Lilith is more of an idea than an actual fairy tale character. Like, again, like Santa Claus. I don't know why I use Santa Claus. Like, that's a weird comparison or analogy, but whatever. I'm in America, and that's like the great fairy tale everyone tells kids, and kids actually believe is a Santa Claus, right? So it's not like that. It's not like a fairy tale being or the Easter Bunny. It is a very valid archetype that a lot of people actually view as a goddess. A goddess, not necessarily a dark goddess always, but a goddess of transformation, a goddess of the Akkadians, the Hebrews, that go back to the Sumerians and the Babylonians. And if you understand a little bit about ancient history, you can follow everything I just said, because I'm not going to give a lecture on that. So yeah, there's so much I could say. I could do one whole big, like, 30-minute vlog that no one would want to see about this book, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say is that there's more to this just Lilith than being a she-demon who scares kids like Krampus. That's why I was thinking the Santa Claus thing. Krampus, thank you, Krampus. So yeah, and not that she has anything to do with, Christmas time either. But the point is that she's always been there in the Judeo-Christian mythology, more Judeo than Christian. She's always been there, kind of like a lot of these legends and characters that we have, but she's more than just a legend or a character. She's a goddess. She's an idea. She's an archetype. So this really goes into that too, because you can't really point to a place in history where it's like, aha, this is where she comes into the human story, because it's not quite. With ancient archaeology, nothing is ever solid. Nothing is ever for sure, because, A, we didn't live back there, and B, by the time we unearth all this shit, it's ruins anyway. So that's very oversimplifying, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Not now. So I've covered 3 books, and I have about 6 more to go. So Jima Gary is a Cornish author, or an author on Cornish witchcraft, that I just really admire. Her work, her writing, her basically her ability to collect stories and be a storyteller. And this is about the wish wells, the wish waters. And it explores, it says on the back, explores the spirits, deities, magical traditions, and ceremonies of holy wells, sacred springs, pools, ponds, lakes, rivers, streams, sea and dew, alongside matters of hydromancy and the use and significance of water within the witch cult. So this would go hand in hand for any of you who are into water magic, the water element, or sea witchery. You may want to get this. It's really interesting because I did see the Chalice Well, I think it's the Red Spring, when I was there. And I think there's a picture of it. Was that just a picture? I have lots of pictures I need to put. There's lots of wells and sacred wells in places from Glastonbury on, and then in Cornwall has a number. So there's a lot of really interesting just information on location in here. And these chthonic bogs and waterways that were sacred to the Fae folk, to the mythology of Avalon, which ties into what I worked on in graduate school, the myths and legends. And Avalon was actually my subject because I presented a paper at SEMA on Morgan Le Fay. So this is right up my alley. I had to get this one. I'm trying to think, do I have another? Is this the only G. McGarry? Okay, so I have a lot of her books. This may be the only one from this order, and that's because, like, I have her one on Cornish Witchcraft. I have some over there. I have, like, The Devil's Dozen, which is one of my favorites, and The Black Toad, Silent Among the Trees, Black Toad, Silent Among the Trees, Devil's Dozen, Cornish Witchcraft. Those are books that she wrote, G. McGarry, and she's a master of an expert, or whatever you want to say, a master witch. We'll say master witch on Cornish witchcraft and witchcraft in the West Country, English witchcraft. I do follow her on Instagram. I don't know if Troy Books has an Instagram account. If I should probably know that, but I don't, because I so sporadically do social media because I'm old. Yeah. And again, I just love her writing. I haven't started that one yet. Again, I've only read one. I just got these yesterday, like the box yesterday. And one came ahead of the box because it came from one of their, I guess their outlets here in America. It came from Pennsylvania. And I don't know if they just ran out of it over there, so they told them to send it down here. I don't know, but I'll get to that one in a second. Right now, I really want to I'll talk about these two. So this one, and again, this is From Granite to Sea, Folklore of Bodmin Moor and East Cornwall. Again, I've been to a lot of places in Cornwall. Penzance, Tintagel. I love the little town of Tintagel. That's Tintagel, in legends. It's the birthplace of Morgan Le Fay. So it's pretty amazing. So this is a comprehensive focus on folklore of Eastern Cornwall. Remember, I said a lot of this is going to be where folklore meets practice, meets witchcraft. So, and this is just going to be, it's really, oh, here we go. Here we go. That's a map. This is really for the people who love folklore and who study this. And it's broken down by months. And again, I just got this one yesterday. So this is really, I'm kind of looking through these with you. Our mail ran late, and this came right as the sun was going down. Actually, they delivered the packages separately. So, and I was so excited because I did order it from overseas, and it didn't take as long as what I thought it would take. So that was good, because you never know with customs coming into the country. You just kind of have to be patient, but there's so much here, and it's a thick book. So there you go. But I was trying to find something real fast to show you guys. But again, it's just the folklore of Bodmin Moor and East Cornwall, and it has a cool dragon creature on the front. Dragons are big deal over there. Pendragon, right? This one. Okay, so black dogs. There's lots of mythology from all over the world about black dogs, and I've been having these dreams about this black wolf. And I know they're two different animals, dogs and wolves, but they are related, okay? Dogs are descended from wolves. And don't tell my cats that, though. So this is Black Dog Folklore by Mark Norman. And I was excited when I saw this. Normally, a couple years ago, I wouldn't necessarily have bought a book about dog folklore because I am a cat person. But I don't know. I just thought, this is pretty cool. Oh, look, Hecate's hounds. It's 3 of them. So I just really, I don't know. I just thought, I've been having these dreams about this big black wolf dog. So I'm going to buy this book. And they're all positive about the dog. The wolf is actually quite lovely in my dreams. He's a sweetheart. But I just wanted to know what that means. And a lot of times, and humans are stupid, but humans always subscribe, or ascribe rather, like a bad meaning, a negative connotation to something numinous that freaks them out, and they'll think it's bad luck just because it's the color black. So I don't know how much of that we're going to run into here, because it depends on where you go in Great Britain and Europe. If black cats are actually unlucky, sometimes they're considered very lucky. Like in the East, in the Orient, especially in Asia, there's a lot of instances or folklore where the color black is actually a good color. It means fecundancy, fertility, and it's actually white that's considered negative because white's the color of bone. So really it depends on if you're talking about East and West, and then when you get into Korea and China and Japan, that's very different. So black to a lot of Westerners has bad connotations because, well, we could tie that to racism too, let's just be honest. And I really wanted to see if there would be a mix of good and bad in here, because I understand that sometimes in England, black cats and black dogs are good luck, depending on where you're located. So yeah, I'm interested to read this and find out more about, well, I'm dreaming about this big black wolf who comes and sees me in my dream and talks to me and my cat Arabelle. That's cool. So there you go. Maybe I'll learn something. Now, what else do we want to talk about? So I have, let's see, 2 more books. Okay, so I'm going to cover this one first because this was the one that came from the United States. It came from Pennsylvania. I think it's like a division. But it's Troy Books. It's Through a Glass Darkly. This is the practice of, I need to put my glasses back on, of catoptromancy, or the divination by mirrors in traditional witchcraft. Now this was interesting to me because I have a haunted mirror. And it's not quite what I thought it would be. This is not quite the book I thought it would be, because this person follows a very rigid, like moralistic sense of witchcraft. Like he says a lot of this comes from secrets from covens, that it's North American covens, not West Country covens over in Great Britain. And I mean, I just didn't jive with it. He is older, he's a boomer, he says he's in his 70s, and it's almost like he applies a sort of right-hand path sense of dark and light, just what I was talking about earlier, like dark and light, white and black morality, to the numinous, to the, if you want to call it supernatural, call it supernatural. Things that we just don't understand yet, and we probably will someday, because hey, simulation theory, it is a thing. Simulation theory is a thing now, and my husband's a physicist, and he actually just did an interview about this with a radio podcast. So who knows, maybe one day we'll find the other dimensions. But he does talk a little bit about like the Kabbalah, but in a very Judeo-Christian sense. I wouldn't say a traditional Kabbalistic sense, or even like the dark side of Kabbalah, like the demonic Kabbalah. And yes, there's a dark side too, which is more my thing. I'm not here to talk about that right now. So I had a conversation with my husband and a couple other witches once about how it seems like people who come from Christianity, especially when you come from a country that's really religious, like currently really religious, like America, they tend to do paganism or witchcraft or Wicca or whatever new age thought it is they go into. They tend to do it like they did Christianity, meaning they don't really leave the Christian mentality of good and evil at the door. They just take it with them. And that's something that can kind of be, honestly, can be hard to like exorcise out of yourself. If we're going to talk about exorcising demons, Christianity is the biggest demon I know. So that can be very hard to do. And as I was reading his book, he was very pedantic, and he ironically lives in Chattanooga, which is my college town. I don't know. I knew some witches in Chattanooga. I don't know if I know him though. But yeah, Chattanooga is where I got my undergraduate degree from, UTC. Go Mocs. But yeah, I mean, I didn't jive with this, and I don't want to be judgmental, and I usually don't cover books I don't like, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it, but his name is Oscar Tusk. If you're one of these people that runs around calling yourself like a white witch, and how you like, I don't know, still believe in Jesus too and stuff, and angels, and like have a very, very stark view of good and evil, like there's good, there's evil, then This kind of stuff is for you. It's more like a Thelma night. That's the word I'm looking for. Thelma night. If you guys know Thelma, or anyway, I'm not going to get Thelema, sorry, Thelema. And that was some of the stuff, I think Edgar Cayce, no, not Edgar Cayce. What's it? The weirdo. Crowley. Crowley touched on a little bit of that, but he touched on a lot of things. Literally and figuratively. So I'm not going to really explain much about that because it's not my thing, but I did read it. I got this earlier this week, and this came a couple days before my box, so I'd already read this by the time I got my box. And I was like, I think I may sell that on Pango. Oh, I'm on Pango now, y'all. So look me up on Pango. I may link my Pango account. So I have 2 more books to tell y'all about. And then I'm going to do another video of another book haul. Yes, I overbought books because I want to read a lot this summer, and now I'm overwhelmed. So these 2 I'm really, really happy about. I know I'm going to have to get the other 2 because I think it's a series. Where's my other glasses? So this is Between the Realms. It's by Cheryl Straffon. I hope I pronounced that right. It has this beautiful, it looks like a woodcut picture of a mermaid. I love Troy books. I'm a fan. Yeah, I'm in the American South, and they're like, who is this woman in the American South that's ordering all these books? They probably like that. They're probably like, why? But you know, I studied this stuff, and I did study it officially in graduate school. There's only so much I could do though with the folklore and even the Avalon mythology, because I went to a small state school called Montevallo, not a great place. I'll just be honest. But get this, we lost both of our medievalists my last year of graduate school. So I had to switch from the Middle Ages, the medieval period, to another like literary period. That sucked. So it turned out that my thesis was not even a thesis. It was an independent project, and it sucked. Okay. The whole experience sucked, but I did love learning, and I do love learning. Sorry, this is Mr. Kirby this now. And this kind of stuff just really speaks to me. I'm just showing you the artwork in here. It is about the Cornish Celtic otherworld through the realm of traditional tales, stories, myths, legends, and folklore. And again, this is gonna, talk about mermaids, where mermaids and fairies meet witches. But it encompasses all of it. It is between the realms. Remember that Cornwall is basically on the sea. Like the coastline there is really beautiful. I mean, I'd rather go there than Florida. I know everyone likes to come down to Florida and play because Florida is wild, but I don't like a lot of people, and I just appreciate the climate better over there. And it's a beautiful country. If you ever get to go, please don't be the obnoxious American. Okay? I know most of you are not. If you're watching this channel, I'm speaking to the choir. I'm quite aware of that. But yeah, that's one reason I went off season. So Cornish myth and magic. It just speaks to my soul. So this is the Gnome manuscript, part 1. This is part 1. Origins, Habit, and Culture. This is by Wilmar Tal, Taal. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing last names from and I know that every region pronounces names differently anyway, but I don't know whether to blame it on the fact that I'm American or I'm from Alabama, so take your pick. But this is so cool. I don't even know how to describe this book. This is like almost like a Brian Froud. If Brian Froud, the fairy artist, if he wrote mythology, like fairy mythology, it's so cool. And they had this one in special editions, and I kind of wanted to get one, but I didn't. I think they were sold out because honestly, by the time I heard about the sale, they were already sold out. They're special editions, and now I've already got these, but I don't know. So yeah, this is basically, let me just read the back. In 2000, the mysterious Dutch Ritcal Eldersman collection was donated to the Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in Boscastle, where in 2003 a Dutch-speaking student assisted deciphering some of the written materials in the collection. It was during this process that the student discovered a fascinating manuscript concerned with Dutch gnome folklore and alerted the Merchants Institute in Amsterdam, who were happy to receive a copy of the gnome manuscript as it became known on CD-ROM. So apparently this is actually a real manuscript from the Reichel Elderman's collection, and they've published it. Origins, Habitat, and Culture focuses on where gnomes come from and what they were doing and what they expressed. The second part will look deeper into magic concerning gnomes, and the third part will deal with leftover writings by the elders. So the second part is the second book, and it's on magic, like working with the gnomes. And this, I mean, I don't know what to think about this. Like, I just got this last night, but I saw a review of it actually on YouTube, and I had not heard of it before, so I immediately ordered it when I saw this book review. This is one of the reasons I just went ahead and replaced this order. I said, well, I guess I'm going to order too many books right now, and that's exactly what I did. So yeah, real quick recap, the ones I'm really excited about. Of course, I love the Canticles of Lilith. Oh, this is such a good book, y'all. And this one, The Moon and the Priestess on tarot. The Black Dog. Oh, so cool. Black Dog folklore. The Wished Waters, the cult and magic of water. I'm just writing all these up. And the gnome manuscript. Don't forget that one. So yeah, I am very excited. Do check them out. That's Troy Books. The imprint looks like this. I'll try to link their website so you can just click on the description and you can just check out what they have in stock. And also the Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in Boscastle. I'll link theirs as well because, again, I did do a video on their stuff. It's either my older videos from last year here or it's just on Instagram, but I probably need to do another one. I got a poster from Cornwall of the little gosh, I'm having brain farts like crazy. The harbor there at Boscastle is really pretty, whatever it's called, the little inlet where the sea comes in, and they have a lot of cute things. If you go to their website, if you're into like pewter jewelry, it's all handmade in Cornwall. I should have worn my pentagram, but I didn't. But I got a pentagram from the Museum of Witchcraft. So I'll link both those sites. They do carry like lots of stuff at the Museum of Witchcraft, like witchcraft supplies, a few of those if you want those as well. I may make another order this fall. I don't know. So do keep in mind, if you do order, you're ordering from Great Britain. So it's going to take a couple weeks to get to you. Just be patient. You know, things are weird coming in through customs nowadays. So, but they'll let you know and they'll send tracking if they can. Anyway, have a great night, wherever you are, day, night, afternoon, morning. And I'll see you again soon because I'm about to record another one. Bye-bye.